Today is 20th of March, market opened slightly positive. However, there was an initial sell-off before market recovered and closed up 22 point at 3930. Over here, we have a bearish gap. Markets managed to stabilize and stayed a rally, and in the process closed this gap resistance, and this is a positive development. I'd like to see the market eventually attempt to break this recent high here of 3950. It will be good if the market can actually pull back slightly before the final assault. Now 3800 is a significant support to watch. Let's turn our attentions to the S&P 500. This is the 40 weeks, 200 days on the daily charts. You can see there's a momentary break. Right now, very much depends on whether the market can recover and trade above the 40 weeks, failing which we may see for a downward move. Now, if you take a look at the Nasdaq, it actually had a weaker picture. We notice the break is actually more violent, and right now it's just hovering there. Now we have a 10-week moving average that is pointing downwards, so this may become a resistance. I'd like to see whether it can recover above the 40 weeks. On the broader pictures, NYSE Composite Index appear to be more resilient. We notice actually it's holding at the 40 weeks, and it appears to be actually doing much better. So on a broad basis, markets are generally resilient. The tech sectors remain weak. Likewise for the small cap stock. Let's take a look at the Brent crude. Mentioned before, $70 is a very important support, and we see a bounce. However, this bounce appears to be actually quite weak. Notice there were rejections of the high. So I would like to see what happens. If we cannot hold, then it is likely to be very bearish. If you take a look at the longer time frame, you can see that actually $70 has been tested on many occasions. So breaking this is going to be a serious implications. 10-year Treasury yield, after it actually broke the upward trend lines, we see a weak reactions here, but by and large 1326 are pointing downwards, so it's likely to actually weaken further. Let's turn back to our local stocks. This is Centurion. After a period of consolidations, managed to stage a very strong breakout followed by an inside day today. This is generally healthy because they are accompanied with low volume. Look for decisive break above this high here of 116. Mentioned previously that this stock could be traded on the weekly charts. You can see over here we managed to actually make a new high. We can look for a pullback and look for a new setup. Namcheon. Similarly, after a period of consolidations, managed to actually break on the upside. And today it trades a wide range bar, close at this high on a high volume. Look for a pullback here and look for new setups to go long. OKP, the stocks we rarely discuss because of lack of persistency in the past. But after this gap up with a rally, we can see the increase in volume. Right now we have a small deeper setup. Look for a break above the high of 56 cents. Hong Leong Asia, the stocks are probably more erratic. Notice after this severe sell down managed to recover and followed by a sharp pullback. Pullback is quite deep though the volume is low, but whatever the case, we prefer if the stocks can actually trade sideways, form a base and look for a break above this high here of 111. PropNet. Very obvious this is a consolidation pattern, and there was this attempt break. Unfortunately, it fizzled out, pulled back, and it's really part of consolidations because the 1326 actually are flat. We would like to actually wait for the completions of the consolidation and take out this high here of 117. Let's take a look at the bank. Now the upward moves actually hot below the gap itself, so we'd like to see what happens. If we can actually pull back slightly over here, catch the breath, and eventually look for a break on the upside. But by and large, 1326 is actually not in order, so this is something we just have to be more careful. On the weekly charts, we can see a big dipper setup to mark out back high here at 46.28. OCBC, much deeper retracements. With the deep retracements, stock is likely to actually stuck in a trading range, something like this, and we'll just have to patiently wait it up. UOB, again very deep retracement over here, followed by an inside bar. Technically here we have a big deeper setup. To bar callback high here is at 38.98. Singtel, now there are several attempts at this resistance, and this appears to be a very significant resistance level. In fact, today itself we do have a break, but actually unfortunately it kind of was not able to hold the gain, and we actually retraced below the breakout level. Going forward, I'd like to see what happens. If we can trade sideways at low volume, it is positive. Otherwise, we may see some further downward move. In particular, because today itself we do see higher volume. ST Engineering, it starts a very strong rally after breaking away from here. If you notice, after the pullback, it eventually break out on the upside, and today still managed to make a new high. Look for pullback here, look for new setups to go along. Sengkang Industry, after the gap down, we see a very strong upward move. There are now news about some privacy deal. So again, stock may well just trade sideways, just below the resistance level. We'd like to see eventually take out this high here after forming a base at 645. Keppel. Now Keppel actually takes a very strong upward move, and this is positive. Now if you take a look at this level itself, we can see a series of topping tail, rejection of the high. So this appeared to be a very stubborn resistance, and it was taken out today on increased volume. So this is generally positive. Now, like here, we do have a bit of overhead resistance, but it's probably less significant. I'd like to see what happens. If we can actually pull back, eventually we'd like to actually take out this recent high here, which is at 703. Yangzijiang Finance. Now, Yangzijiang Finance has rallied all the way to test this high seen listing, which is at 695. And there was actually an attempt yesterday itself. However, we don't see very strong reactions today. In fact, we trade an inside day on low volume, so this is just a temporary rest. Now, if you continue to do so, then it may even attempt to break the high of 0695. So this is something we like to watch. But however, having said this, notice this runs is actually quite matured, so it may even fail. So if you have this position, you just have to actually watch closely.